Welcome back. So ASUS have just announced their new CX14 and CX15 series Chromebook and Chromebook Plus models for 2025. So let me show you what we know about these already, including one particular oddity. Starting with the CX14 model line, ASUS has a number of configs available here in this lineup of 14-inch Chromebooks and Chromebook Plus models. So in the left-hand column, we've got the regular Chromebook versions of this CX14 range, and in the right-hand column, we've got the Chromebook Plus model options. We can see that all the processors are the new 2025 Intel Twin Lake processors. So we've got the Intel N150, the Intel N250, and the Intel Core 3 N355 for the Chromebook models, and that same Core 3 N355 in the Chromebook Plus model lineup. Slightly odd because it may suggest that we may see some regular Chromebooks meeting the hardware requirements of Chromebook Plus, but perhaps not getting that Chromebook Plus status, a bit like we've seen from Acer with their 3 Series Chromebooks, or at least some of them. For the memory, we can see that we've got a good range here. We're still starting at 4 gig on the low end for the regular Chromebooks, but going all the way up to 16 gig apparently, again, maybe backing up that theory from a minute ago. And for Chromebook Plus, of course, we have to start at 8 gig, but we're also getting some 16 gig options if we're able to find them. And that's all low power DDR5 memory. For the storage, again, a good range, but do we really need to start at 32 gig in 2025? Going all the way up to 256 gig for those regular Chromebooks. And the Chromebook Plus, of course, has to start at 128 gig and also gets a 256 gig option. It is a shame that it's all eMMC. It would have been nice to have seen an SSD option for the Chromebook Plus models, especially. The displays, again, all looks fairly decent and reasonable here. You are getting a touch option in both varieties, it looks like, and for brightness we're going up to 300 nits on both sides, but watch out because there is a TN spec display available there as well, which may not be as vibrant. If anyone can tell me what AG or VIPS is, I think those are both new to me, so I'll have to look into it. No stylus support on the touch display options. And if we're looking at ports and I/O, we're getting 2 USB-C ports, so that's great. Hopefully there'll be one either side. HDMI, but it's still version 1.4b, would have been nice to see version 2. And you're getting a full-size USB-A port, and of course you're getting a audio combo jack and a Kensington lock port. Video camera, so we're seeing the webcam being either HD or full HD on the non-Chromebook Plus, and of course the Chromebook Plus get a full HD camera. Would have been nice to see a quad HD camera option there, but with this being the CX range, perhaps that more entry-level to mid Chromebook range may not have been expected, so that's probably reasonable. Still on Wi-Fi 6 for connectivity. Looks like we're getting Bluetooth 5.4 on some models. All of these options, where they vary so much, it's just going to depend on what's available in your region and what becomes the kind of default model option, I guess. Would have been nice to see a move up to Wi-Fi 7 like we saw on those new Acer Chromebooks recently. But yeah, it looks like we're sticking with Wi-Fi 6. Audio, can't really say too much about that until it's tested. The weight seems reasonable at 1.39 kg for a 14-inch Chromebook. And I'm not sure why there's such a range of battery options here, so we'll really have to see once hopefully I get hold of one of these to take a look at what is available, certainly here in the UK and elsewhere. And the keyboard, yep, so there's going to be some backlit options, but most of them I expect will be non-backlit. Again, something we'll have to look at in more detail once we see them released. All of the images look like a fairly normal grey colour, and there seems to be some sort of textured finish, but the press release points out there'll be up to 7 colour options and 3 different finishes. I expect some will be region specific or more common, so we'll just have to see what gets released. From the images, the bezels on the screen look reasonable for an entry-level Chromebook. ASUS state an 87% screen-to-body ratio. In the UK, we're already seeing a version of the Chromebook Plus of the CX14 available, although if you do order it, it's showing a long lead time. I expect that's just going to flip to being available once it does come into stock. From this, we can see a bit more on the imagery, a few things to look at here. So yeah, all looking fairly standard. You can see you've got the ASUS branding down at the bottom of the lid of the Chromebook here, and of course the Chromebook Plus branding in the top left. For the keyboard, you can see that we've got that new quick insert key over here on the left, and then the launcher is now this G branded key on the bottom row there. And then for the image of the ports here, I think this is actually incorrect. So if you remember on the specs, we saw it mentioning 2 USB-C ports. I think there should be another USB-C port just here. And if I click into the image, again, I think that one's wrong. Where is it? Yeah, I think the image here, clearly indicated as the Chromebook Plus, you can see there's a USB-C port there on the bottom left, and then there's a second one there where we saw a gap before. You can see it a bit more clearly on the image on the right, but if I move my cursor over there, it'll disappear. But hopefully you can look at that and see there are 2 USB-C ports there. So I think this listing on John Lewis is the reason that image exists with the missing USB-C port. So it's not an incorrect image as such, but it's a slightly different model line in this new version of the CX14. And I really think you need to be aware of it, and you most probably want to avoid it. So you can see in the image there, we're missing the USB-C port. So this is a version with the Intel Celeron processor, and it's got the N4500 from 2021 in it. So not only does that mean lower end performance compared to those new processors from 2025, but you're also going to get less Chrome OS years of updates. So you're only going to get updates until June 2031 compared to with those newer processors, June 2035. So why have ASUS done this? Why have they brought out this version with an old processor in? You tell me what you think in the comments, but if you watch the channel, you may have seen the video I did on this recent Lenovo that was also released with that processor. And they're not the only ones. Acer also released a Chromebook towards the end of 2024 with it in. So is there just some massive oversupply of this old processor? Did somebody at Intel just open a stock cupboard and find piles of them available and flog them at a very cheap price? Let me know what you think in the comments. And as well as this 8GB of RAM config option with that Celeron processor that John Lewis have, they also have this 4GB of RAM option. And the prices of both, I think, are just pretty crazy, so I really hope these are discounted soon. But if you compare to what you can pay for a much newer Chromebook, even with the N100 or N200 processor, you can get a much better deal. And if we just look at the rest of the spec for the CX14 with the N4500 processor, we can see although the numbers don't look too bad at a high level, there are of course some constraints. So the memory is only going to be low power DDR4 memory. The displays, so again it looks like a good range, but again just why would you pay the amount you're going to pay for a touch display, 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage if you're constrained by that older processor from 2021. And we can see answering the question on the ports really, so yes, there is just the one USB-C port on this model, hence the images we've seen before. You do get a good range of other connectivity, I guess, or an okay range, but again, why would you pay for this model when there's just going to be a better option out there? Range of webcams, Wi-Fi 6 again, and yeah, not too much else to say on the rest of the specs here. So jumping to look at the CX15 model lineup, it's almost a rinse and repeat with a few small differences. So we've got the regular versions and we've got a Chromebook Plus model lineup again. Same new processors for the new model here and the same processor expected in the Chromebook Plus model. Same config options for the memory, for the storage. Obviously we've got that bigger 15.6-inch display, but I think as far as the other specs go, it's looking the same, again going up to 300 nits of brightness. Same I/O for the ports, again we've got those 2 USB-C ports on this up-to-date model, I would say, of the lineup. And then you can probably guess what's coming. I'll show you in just a second. We've of course got an option with the Celeron N4500. And again, for all the same reasons shown previously with the CX14, with the N4500 processor, I would just really recommend for most people, you're just going to find a better deal on something with a newer processor than this. One difference with the CX15 compared to the CX14 is you're going to get that full-size keyboard with the number pad on the right. They do state the key travel here as well as 1.35mm. Maybe that's the same on the CX14, we'll have to see. When I reviewed the previous generation of the CX15 series, I wasn't blown away by it. If you want to watch that video next, click on the video on the left of the screen now. Otherwise, if you want to go with the YouTube algorithm's choice, that's the video on the right to watch next. Cheers.